Hello everybody and welcome back to this channel. A while ago I started to redesign my old Fakemon and then just stopped because I got bored. I didn't realize how easily I'm getting bored if I have to draw the same image 2 times, and it was especially frustrating because I like some of my older designs, just not the rendering, so I basically just threw the old design but added new highlights and stuff, and it was so boring that I just stopped again. However, then I started redesigning the pseudo legendaries and I liked the outcome, so I decided to tackle some of the earliest Fakemon I've drawn as well. So today we will redesign the first Route 1 bird. You can check out my original video here. I'm going to explain the concept there because today I just want to focus on the redesign and not like the actual concept. I know a lot of people liked it, or at least they told me that they like it. I don't know if they were just trying to be nice. Regardless, the rendering's not it anymore and the perspective of the design was a bit off. Especially the beak, and I don't know why the wings were as tiny as they were. There were just too many puffy things on the cloud that is surrounding its body. So I basically started again. I wanted to make a new pose but wanted to keep elements of the original design that made it so cute. Mainly the wings and the round body. Also, it looked very fluffy. It's literally in its name, it's called fluffling, so I had to keep the fluffy elements, but I did want to tone it down a bit. I decided to make a different pose because it was also a bit too static originally. I just, made a few sketches until I liked something. It's a bit crouching down, its wings are up in the air, and it's looking up at something large, which is probably not that hard since it's not that tall. Relatable. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is actually an older redesign. I had a phase where I wanted to redesign my old stuff, however it was just a phase for 1 or 2 months. And then I suddenly wanted to change the canvas size and layout to a square, and also want to slightly change the way I'm rendering the highlights. So yeah, I started to redesign in a slightly different style, and I don't think it's very obvious for most people. It's really not that apparent when you're just looking on a screen and not, I always zoom in and out and stuff, so I see it obviously a bit better. I do see the difference between these two redesigning phases, which honestly bugs me a bit because I want to make everything in the same style. However, I think it's still a way better design than my original stuff, so I'm just gonna keep it. I'm not gonna redesign it again. I just didn't want to draw it again and getting bored again, so yeah. Anyways, I realized that a lot of my old Fakemon, since they are inspired by real life animals, are like different shades of brown, and I think I often went a bit too natural with the color schemes. I overused the brown tones a lot, and this may not be an issue in real nature, but this is Pokemon, a creature collecting franchise, and I think if your first, 5 or 6 Fakemon you encounter all have a very similar color scheme, you just get bored and don't want to catch them anymore. So I decided to add a few more red elements. Okay, that's not true. I decided to add red elements into the design since there was no red in the original design. I don't know why I said that. I gave it interesting looking red patterns on the cheeks and on the tail and on the wings too. I also simplified the legs because, it looked really weird in the original design. I just threw some feet on it and it looked way better, so yeah. Here it is, the pure ground type fluffling. I didn't want to make another normal flying bird for the Route 1, so I took a different attempt and made it ground. If you want to see the full reason behind, you can watch the original video. I hope it's not too cringy. It probably is, but I don't know. It's part of the journey, I guess. I also believe I changed the shiny colors. I think it was purple before, but I tried around some colors, and can you really go wrong with green and blue? So yeah, please tell me if you like the original fluffling. Do you still like the redesign? I personally think it's a huge upgrade, but I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think it looked better, so yeah, I'm not really objective on that. Next up, the evolution. So back then the original line was planned as a 3-stage line, but I struggled so much with the last stage that I said, okay, this stage you're gonna see right now, and the drawing in the left corner, that's the final evolution. So basically a line like Tailo and Swallow. The problem is that Tailo's evolution actually looks like a final stage and this one just doesn't because it wasn't planned as a final stage. It looks a bit too juvenile and too round and yeah, everything. Well, it looks like a middle stage, not necessarily an awkward middle stage, but still a middle stage. However, since I'm still not the best when it comes to drawing birds, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave it as a 2-stage line, it's fine. I was not motivated enough to put in a lot of work to come up with a 3rd stage, but I tried to make this stage look more like a final stage. I don't know if it worked, but I think the spiky things on its face make it look a bit more tough, at least. I don't know. A bit less juvenile, I guess. Let's call it that way. Besides that, the design is actually pretty much the same as the original one. And I just realized I forgot the tail. Well, okay, that sucks, but I don't really have the motivation to open up the canvas and draw on a tail. I'm sorry. Just imagine that there is a tail. Anyways, here it is, Sparrow. While drawing it, I was like, okay, this is going to be the final stage. However, not that I was unhappy with the stage, but I was unhappy with it being the final stage because it just doesn't really look like a final stage, and I have another Route 1 bird where the final evolution of that Fakemon actually does look like a final stage. So one day I just randomly got a burst of inspiration and I was like, alright, I'm going to draw a 3rd stage for it. It's not going to look like the weird thing that I drew 2 years ago, so yeah. I took more inspiration from all the birds that we have, like the Pokemon birds, and it did take me a bit of sketching to get a pose that I liked and that looked like a fun Route 1 bird. I had to make sure it's not too similar to my grass slider, which is also a bird, and it also had to be different enough from the other Route 1 bird too. Once I figured out the pose, it was actually pretty easy, which I did not expect because birds are like hard to draw for me. I'm not good at drawing them, so yeah. I just added elements from the previous stages, the fluffy feather thingies on its legs, and I gave it a more interesting beak, or well, a pattern around the beak, I guess, and decided to shape its head a bit more like a mask. About the fluffy thing around its neck, I wasn't sure how I'm going to deal with that. I thought maybe I could shape it like a sandstorm or like a tornado, something like that. I'm not sure if it worked, but I think the shape is kinda cool. I also think in my original design I wanted to incorporate some, not necessarily gemstones, but like crystal parts or something like that, because basically the Fakemon line accidentally creates sandstorms and stuff like that, and I wanted to implement rocks flying around. I mean, sand is basically small rocks, so I wanted to give it a few like rock parts or crystal parts. You can see that I removed a lot of them because I figured that if this Fakemon line has like 5 rocks on its wings, it's going to be too heavy to fly. Also, it's not a rock type, so too many rocks didn't make much sense to me. I also included the rocks because then I could incorporate a 3rd color. I wanted to look rather large since the early birds are often used for the HM flying, and I always felt bad for Pokemon that are too small to realistically use those moves and carry their trainers around. And here it is, the ground flying type Torghast. The name is a fusion of tornado and gust, which like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know, it sounds cool. I contemplated changing one of the typings to rocks since I added rocks on the stage, but I didn't want to ditch the flying or the ground type. Let me know if you'd prefer a different typing. This shiny was actually the reason why I changed the shinies of the other two, because I thought it looked really cool, but then the other shinies weren't fitting, so I changed it later on. So what do you think of the line? I mean, I think I can speak for everyone if I say that this looks better than the beta design I had in like 2021. But yeah, in general, what do you think? Do you think a 3rd stage was necessary, or should I have kept it at 2 stages? I think I'm actually pretty happy with it. I don't know if I would put it on my team, but at the beginning for sure. But I would probably swap it out, realistically speaking. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This redesign was definitely a much needed redesign, and I think a lot of older Fakemon will get either a redesign or like a new artwork. I don't know, not a complete redesign. I don't think it's necessary for all of them. And because my voice is starting to fail, a few more infos. I'm gonna be in Romania for the whole month of August, so all videos are pre-produced. My arm is better, but still not, you know, not back on track. So I did the whole script with my voice to script thingy on my phone, which sucks, to be honest. It's like really bad, but better than nothing. So I'm sorry if everything sounds all over the place. Anyways, thank you for being here. Please leave a like, let me know your opinions in the comments. This is freestyle, I don't know. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and see you in the comments. I still try to, you know, answer your comments if possible, if I'm not completely KO. So yeah, bye, see you.